Okay, in this lesson, you're going to be taught the strategies and techniques for deciding what to sell on your website. Now that you've got your domain name, your hosting, your merchant account set up, the next thing is to decide what you're going to sell. Now this tutorial is going to be beneficial for those students without a specific product or service in mind that you want to sell, but it's also beneficial for those of you with a current product or service in mind. All the website marketing in the world will not help you if you try to sell something that people don't want to buy. So we're going to discuss tools and resources that are available to show you of what potential market is on the internet for the product or service you wish to sell. Through this tutorial, you're going to know how many people are looking for what you're going to sell before you even get started. If the market exists, go for it. If the market doesn't exist, it's better to know now rather than months down the road. You'll be learning in this lesson how to take all the guesswork out of finding a product or service and how to make money online. So the first thing that you want to do is brainstorm. There are a million different ways to get product ideas, and each person will develop preferences over time. When you sit down to brainstorm, write down anything and everything that comes to mind. Don't rule out anything at this point. We're going to focus on narrowing down the choices once we have a nice long list of potential opportunities. In case you're having trouble getting started, there's a number of highly effective ways to kick off the brainstorming process. Number one, you want to check out catalogs. And if you're interested in selling physical products, there are a few greater resources in the catalogs of your future competitors. By paying attention to which items receive the largest and most prominent placements, you can take advantage of the research that's been done by their well-funded purchasing departments. Their decisions to repeat products from season to season can also be very, very telling. Next, analyze your hobbies. The best businesses are often born out of the passions of their founders. Don't overlook the things you love when you're getting ready to start a new business. If you enjoy snowboarding, explore the possibilities in snowboard sales, athletic apparel, or perhaps even winter vacation sales. If you love playing the flute, perhaps sheet music or band instruments would better suit you. If you're currently working or have worked recently in the past, consider your career. Even if you're not in love with your current career, there's a good chance you know more about it than you think. When you enter your endeavor with some pre-existing expertise, you tip the scales just a little bit further in your favor. Next, ask your family and friends. No one knows you like those that you're closest with, right? Sometimes our friends and families know us better than we even know ourselves. By asking your friends and family members for product suggestions, you not only get valuable ideas, but you draw them into your business and make them more likely to help you if you need it later. They'll also feel more invested in your business. Next, look at them all in a different light. When you run your own business, you'll start viewing the world in a different way. Every ad becomes a case study in copywriting and design, and every store becomes a showcase of products you could sell on your website. As with catalogs, pay close attention to placement and longevity. If you see a busy display, try to figure out which factors attract interest from nearby shoppers. You may be able to apply some of the same techniques in your own online presentation. Next, check out the classifieds. Right? Look at the classifieds. Whether you hope to sell goods or services, the classified sections of relevant newspapers and magazines can be tremendously helpful. The larger ads in the middle of the magazine are frequently purchased by larger, more traditional companies that hope to brand their products or services. Classified ads, on the other hand, appeal to a more value-conscious, direct sales-oriented client. As helpful as it is to view the publication in your own industry, you might also get good ideas from trade publications in other industries as well. If you're reading a magazine for construction professionals, you might come across an ad for a company that offers email marketing techniques or templates for independent contractors. Even if you have no interest in servicing the market of construction managers, you could take the idea and offer it to a different market. Now what I want to do is go over with you the rules of brainstorming to ensure that you brainstorm properly. The first thing you want to do is you want to gather together as many people as possible. Get them in a quiet room with no outside distractions and provide nothing more but pens and paper. Plan on the session taking longer than an hour. Next, you want to postpone all of your judgment of ideas until the brainstorming session is over. Don't discuss the ideas in detail until after the brainstorming session. Your goal here is quantity over quality. Try to get as many ideas down on paper as you can. Evaluating and discussing ideas can take up valuable time and energy. Use that energy to generate new ideas and get them down on paper. Now, encourage crazy or unique ideas. Shout out wild and crazy ideas. The crazier the better. See what other ideas, wild and crazy ideas, will spark. State and consider ridiculous and impossible ideas. Get as many ideas down on paper as possible. Get a large group together and spend as much time as possible thinking of ideas. Make sure you exhaust every possible thought you have. The more things you've written down, the more likely you are to find the product that is going to be a success. Keep each idea brief and short. Don't describe or develop the idea during the brainstorming session, as this can be done afterward as you've narrowed down your lists. And be sure to build and expand on ideas as you hear them. Don't just focus on new ideas, but branch out of the ideas you hear of others. Take each idea into as many different directions as possible. The next thing we want to discuss is how to properly research the ideas that you've come up with. Once you come up with a list of potential products, you'll need to do a bit of research to figure out if someone actually wants what you're offering. Instead of purchasing the product or starting to promote it on your website, you can use a resource like the reverse search tool provided in our tools section. This tool will instantly tell you whether or not you have a good idea before you waste any time and energy and effort on pursuing it further. Because it examines searches made on major search engines in the previous month, it's a great tool that can help you identify your potential market. When you're using the reverse search tool, it's important to remember to try several different variations of your chosen keyword. Start with a more general query to get the best data. For instance, if you are creating a website on leadership training materials, start with a general query like leadership or management skills. Broad queries can help you determine the size of your potential market. You want to make sure that the market you're entering is large enough for expansion as you become successful with your product. Once you know that the overall market is sufficiently large, you can move into more detailed keywords. These are keywords that will help bring you the most targeted visitors. In the beginning, you'll use them to work your way into the market. The search engine volume will be lower, but you'll also find that advertising with these keywords is more affordable. Some people refer to these more precise phrases as long-tailed keywords. To find more specific keywords, start brainstorming as though you're a buyer. Enter in phrases like leadership books or leadership training guides to see what kind of volume you can expect. Now, depending on the price of your product, you may not need a huge market to be successful. If you find that there are few results or little activity for a given product or service, go back to the drawing board. Don't spend time, energy, and money trying to market something that people are not looking for. People go to the internet to find things that they want and that they are familiar with. If you have a unique product that is not well known, the internet can be a difficult place to begin your marketing. Sell items people want to buy. Reverse search tools are used to show you how many people are searching each month for what you're thinking about selling. If 10,000 people a month are looking for what you sell, and 1% of those buy from you, that's 100 sales a month. If your profit per sale average is $20, that's $2,000 per month. If that meets or exceeds your income goal, you have a winner. If it doesn't, you might want to keep looking. Remember, because of the advantages of the internet, it is possible to manage multiple websites effectively. Imagine 5 websites, each generating $2,000 a month in revenue. Multiple websites generating modest revenue is just the same and just as effective as one website generating a huge income. Step number 3 you want to do is you want to survey the competitive landscape. You want to look at your product and once it's weathered the search volume test, you want to check out potential competitors. Using the keywords you obtained in the previous step, go to Google and see what comes up. As you look through each of the sites that rank on the first 2 pages, ask yourself the following questions. How would my product differ from this product? Or how many other sites are selling my product? How does my price compare? If higher, can I justify the price? If lower, will your product be perceived as low quality? How could you combat that problem? Are other sites discounting the product to the point that it will be difficult to sell it at a profit? How long have other products been around? Is that a positive or a negative? In some industries, like online marketing, A newer product might be better due to changes in technology. In other markets, customers may favor a more established product. Is it a one-time purchase or a subscription-based product? There are pros and cons to each, but it's not something you should overlook as you compare yourself to others in the market. Do the other sites appear trustworthy? That means good web design, clear writing that's free of excessive errors, and enough information to make buyers feel comfortable. If your competitors are lacking in this area, it's a good thing to focus on giving your site a competitive edge. If your competitors offer highly professional sites, you'll see what you need to live up to. And finally, the key to remember is you can do it. When you were a kid, the answer to this question was always, you can do anything you put your mind to. While that's definitely true, not all goals are created equally. It takes an inefficient amount of energy to make a product work. It may be better to put the idea aside and come back to it if it makes sense later. To evaluate whether your product will work for you, you'll need to do a realistic assessment of your costs. How much time or money will be involved in getting your product ready for sale? How large is the market? Are there related products that you could promote to do the same in the market once you break in? How much do you stand to make if you're successful? While it's important to consider the competition in your assessment, remember that some competition is desirable. If you can't find much competition in your chosen market, be especially cautious. It could be a spectacular hidden opportunity, but it could also mean that there's no market for your product. In most cases, it's best to choose products with a moderate amount of existing competition. Remember that most of your competitors are not particularly skilled in the art of promotion anyway, so you'll generally have plenty of opportunities to outshine your competition and grab customers out of the market. If you plan on dropshipping products made by others, you can probably afford to spend little less time on this stage. If you're planning to develop a course or information product, however, you want to do a very critical evaluation of your product before investing too much time or money in it. Remember, don't get too attached to your ideas for now. If something looks less appealing after your assessment, it's okay to move on and do something else. It's much easier to start over at this stage than after you've spent weeks or months on development. The world gives us almost infinite opportunities for success, and a motivated entrepreneur will always find more ideas. In summary, your success on the internet depends on your product, your price, and your marketing efforts. You can get all the traffic in the world to your website, but if your product is not something people want to buy, or it's not priced correctly, you will not make any money. Do your research. Sell a product or service that people are looking for. Brainstorm and consider everything. Look at what people buy from malls or out of catalogs. Get ideas from family and friends. Don't necessarily limit yourself and sell only what you would buy or become married to one specific idea. Rather sell what people on the internet are searching for. Study your competition. Price your products or services in a range consistent with what other websites are charging. Proper research on the internet will save you time and money. If you sell something people want at a price they're willing to pay and learn how to get those buyers to your website, you can and you will succeed.